Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something really satisfying. We're going to transform your messy, chaotic, qualitative research data into a clear, compelling narrative. If you're doing any kind of research in the social sciences, psychology, or business, you already know that gathering your data is, well, it's really only half the battle. The actual magic, that happens when you try to figure out what all that data actually means. So picture this for a second. You've just transcribed hours upon hours of interviews. You've got dozens of pages of text, observation notes, and survey responses sitting right in front of you. You're staring at this absolute mountain of text, and you kind of start to panic, right? That overwhelming feeling of needing a reliable process to make sense of it all really starts to creep in. I mean, how do you actually find the core story without just, guessing?
Well, here is our structured roadmap to take you from that chaos to total clarity. We'll be walking through 1. Taming qualitative data chaos. 2. What is thematic analysis? 3. Steps 1 and 2 on coding. 4. Steps 3 and 4 on themes. 5. Steps 5 and 6 on reporting. And 6. Why thematic analysis matters.
Let's jump right into Section 1, Taming Qualitative Data Chaos.
We've got to start by addressing the sheer volume of qualitative data you're dealing with. When you're looking at raw interviews, focus groups, or surveys, trying to analyze it right out of the gate can feel literally impossible, mostly because there are just so many words and so many different human perspectives layered on top of each other. And it is absolutely crucial to remember here. Qualitative analysis isn't about counting numbers. Honestly, if you just wanted to know how many times someone said a specific word, you'd be doing quantitative research. Instead, qualitative work is all about condensing and synthesizing those vast, rich narratives into meaningful information. You're trying to capture the real meanings and understandings of your actual participants.
All right, Section 2. What is thematic analysis?
Now, what's so fascinating about this concept is that it acts as the ultimate sense-making tool for your research. Think of it as the bridge connecting raw, messy human experience directly to structured academic theory. This specific method, which was heavily popularized by researchers Virginia Braun and Victoria Clark, in a paper that's been cited over 200,000 times, by the way, allows you to systematically find common patterns without losing the context of the human experience. It's not just summarizing what people said, it's identifying the common threads in how a topic is talked about and making sense of those commonalities across your whole entire data set.
And to actually do this, we use a highly practical 6-step framework. These 6 procedural phases are going to act as our roadmap. They completely break down what could be a highly intimidating academic concept into something totally manageable. We're going to move from familiarization all the way through coding and themes right down to your final report.
Moving on to Section 3, Steps 1 and 2, which are all about coding.
I want you to think of your raw data as raw construction materials. Right now, you just have this massive pile of wood, bricks, and glass sitting on an empty lot. You've got to start sorting them. So step 1 is data familiarization. Before you can sort a single thing, you have to know your data inside and out by completely immersing yourself in those transcripts. You definitely don't just read it once. You read, reread, and then you read it again. You listen to the audio while reading the text, you take initial notes, you're actively searching for meaning right out of the gate on your very first pass.
Then in step 2, you transition from those messy transcripts into organized codes. Whether you're using highlighters on paper or dedicated qualitative software, you systematically break down the text into its distinct component parts. You're basically tagging specific sentences or paragraphs with a short descriptive phrase that captures exactly what is happening in that moment. These codes, these are your bricks.
Now, as you're doing this coding, you actually have a choice in how you sort these materials. You can go at it inductively, which is a bottom-up approach. This is where you let the raw data dictate the codes without trying to force them into a pre-existing framework. It's like naturally discovering a theme about, say, coffee breaks just from reading the text. Or you can code deductively. That's a top-down approach, where you use existing academic theories and concepts to actively search the text for a specific idea, like looking specifically for instances of burnout.
So why does all of this matter? Well, the crucial point here is that this rigorous, line-by-line sorting completely prevents you from just cherry-picking quotes to support what you already happen to believe. Coding ensures that your eventual findings are deeply, undeniably grounded in actual empirical evidence. By doing this, you are literally earning the right to make broader claims later on.
Which brings us to Section 4, Steps 3 and 4, Themes.
So we've sorted our bricks, and now we transition into actually building the house. This is where those dozens or maybe even hundreds of initial codes start to cluster into overarching, meaningful themes.
In Phase 3, you're searching for themes by reviewing your codes to spot areas of similarity and overlap. You might suddenly realize, hey, these 5 different codes all actually point to one broader topic, like responses to workplace stress. Then, in Phase 4, you review those potential themes. You check if they actually make sense in relation to the coded extracts first, and then against the entire dataset as a whole.
To do this effectively, you really have to walk yourself through this crucial Phase 4 quality checklist. Ask yourself out loud, is this actually a broad theme, or is it just a very specific code? What are the actual boundaries? Like, what does this theme include? And just as importantly, what does it exclude? Do I have enough meaningful, thick data to support this, or is it kind of thin and weak? And finally, are the data points within this theme just way too diverse, making it lack a coherent, unified story?
This specific quality check is absolutely vital. It guarantees that your final analysis is a true, authentic reflection of the raw materials, rather than some forced narrative you've projected onto it. If a theme doesn't hold up to those tough questions, you either discard it or merge it. Never, ever force your data into a shape that isn't naturally there.
Let's look at Section 5, Steps 5 and 6, which cover reporting.
We are finally at the polished stage where we get to name our themes and actually write the scholarly report that shares all our hard-earned findings with the world. In Step 5, every single theme needs a clear, unique definition and a really solid name. And please, the name shouldn't be some boring, dry description. It needs to be concise, informative, and punchy. It should instantly signal the core essence of that theme to the reader, and of course, it has to relate directly back to your initial research question.
And finally, for Phase 6, producing the report, you need to select vivid, compelling data extracts to actually prove your points. Take this incredible quote from a workplace compassion study by Lilius and colleagues. Teresa says, "If there's somebody having a hard time with their house or their family, word just spreads, and we all just pull together and help each other out." But here's the trick. You don't just drop a quote like this in and move on. You analyze it. You explain to the reader exactly how the specific human voice vividly demonstrates your overarching theoretical theme.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? This final reporting step bridges the gap between your intense, behind-the-scenes data sorting and the real-world impact on your reader. It shows exactly why your research matters. A truly great report doesn't just list a bunch of facts, it tells a highly compelling evidence-based story about human behavior or organizational culture.
Finally, Section 6, Why Thematic Analysis Matters.
To wrap up this explainer, let's just take a step back and look at the broader value of mastering the step-by-step methodology and why it's so heavily relied upon across so many different fields of study. Thematic analysis is incredibly powerful primarily because of its flexibility. You can use it across a ton of various research designs, whether you're going inductive or deductive. It's wonderfully accessible for novice researchers because it breaks qualitative analysis down into very manageable, logical steps. And yet, at the same time, it provides the exact structured rigor required for top-tier academic publishing. It's the ultimate tool to link raw human data to broader, sweeping theories.
Ultimately, thematic analysis empowers absolutely anyone to tackle complex qualitative data with total confidence. So the next time you're staring down your own mountain of transcriptions, I really encourage you to apply this 6-step framework. Sort your materials, cluster your bricks together, and methodically build your own evidentiary house. The only question left is, how will you turn the chaos of your raw data into a compelling story of clarity? Good luck with your research, and thanks so much for exploring this methodology with me today.